Forward, right? On? Yeah.
Mhm.
4:05 PM. I will call the May 12th Public Works Committee, Standing Committee to order. Proof of notification? Mr. Elder says yes. Agenda approval, we have one correction. It says 17, but they forgot the number 7, so it's actually a 16-point agenda. Looking for approval of the agenda 16-point.
Second.
Motion by Manning, second by Cooey. All those in favor of approving the 16-point agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, nobody opposed. We have minutes from the previous meeting. Those were in your folders. Any questions or concerns? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve all agenda or all minutes as presented in the folder. Motion by McGee, second by Cosgrove. Any discussion on minutes? Mr. Carroll? Yes, sir. I thought they were in the folder, but maybe they weren't.
Okay, I see everything, but I didn't see the minutes for the highway.
Let me double check the server side.
Okay,
Is it the 413?
Yep.
Yep.
okay, because I had these open like a week ago, it wasn't in there. Okay, I'm good.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the previous minutes as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we have minutes approved. Any public comment? If you guys don't mind, I would like to go around the table and so kind of people would understand history on some of us here on the board and Mr. Cosgrove, would you mind? Oh, would you mind start? No, I forgot a portion of this. We got to go back to number 2, election of a vice chair. I was reading the old one. I didn't even get time to announce that the nominations were open, but the nominations are open for vice chair of the Public Works Committee. Mr. Cooey nominates Chad Cosgrove. Mr. McKee seconds that motion. Mr. Cosgrove, would you accept that nomination? Any further nominations for vice chair of the Public Works Committee? I'll say it a couple times, that's usual procedure. Any further nominations for vice chair of the Public Works Committee? One more time, any further nominations for Public Works vice chair? If not, I would entertain a motion to close nominations. Mr. Cooey makes a motion to close the nomination. Who made the second to close? Mr. Manning did. All right. Lisa's catching up.
Cheryl can't.
They want us closer? Hello? Hello? How about now? All right. I'm usually pretty loud.
Yep.
All right. Richard McKee has made a motion to cast a unanimous ballot for Chad Cosgrove as vice chair. I would second that motion. All those in favor of Mr. Cosgrove as our vice chair of the Public Works Committee, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody's opposed. All right. Now I can go back and make sure I have the right one in front of me. Public comment. I would like to start with Mr. Cosgrove. A little bit on the history, no 10-minute speech that we had for the chairman of the county board, but I would like to go around the room. Where you live? How many years you've been on? A little bit about yourself, please.
Sure. Chad Cosgrove. This is my 3rd session on county board. second go around as part of the Public Works or Highway Committee. Raised in Richland Center, been a lifelong resident. Don't have plans to go anywhere.
Yep, Mark Cooey, this is my third session also, second session on highway. I'm on the county board, Riverdale School Board, Orion Township Chair. So, lived in Richland County my whole life.
Steve Caro, this will be the start of my second term on the board. I was on Property and Building and Grounds Committee last session, and this will be all of our first round on this combined committee.
You as well.
Can you hear me? Randy Nelson, maintenance supervisor here at the courthouse. Been maintenance for 3 years. Grew up in Richland County, now live in Viola area, on the Vernon County side, of course. Other than that, enjoy my job.
An EMT and a firefighter, correct?
Correct. 30 years, 36 years.
Thank you. Mr. Elder, you're up.
All right, I'm Josh Elder, been highway commissioner for approaching a year now, born and raised in Richland. 6 years with the department.
Miss Lisa. Please.
Lisa Muller. I've been with the Highway Department for 18, almost 19 years. Bookkeeper.
Thank you. Mr. Manning.
Manning, going into my third term. Highway, give them vice chair. I've lived in Dayton Township since 1878. Not planning to move anytime soon.
My name's Richard McKee. This will be my fourth term at the county board. Last year, I was chair of the Buildings and Grounds, and I live north of Richland Center in Whitetail Trails subdivision. A widower. I live by myself. I have 2 sons and 5 grandkids, and that's all I'm going to have. And I like traveling when I can.
I have been, this is starting my 4th term on the county board. A little stint on the town of Eagle with Mr. Cooey when he lived in my township. Been on the highway department, I think, 6 years, 7, whichever. But lived in Richland County all my life, right down on Highway 60. So, Miss Barbara, you're up.
I'm Barbara Scott. I'm the IT director. I've been with the county for 27 years. I am, when I had my midlife crisis, I went back to school and became a nurse, and so I do that on the side. I take care of all your IT needs, along with my staff, Jason and John and Gabe.
Jason, please, a little bit on you, if you got time.
Jason Marshall, MIS administrator. Basically just take care of all the network, firewall security issues and anything else that comes our way.
I do not see any other public in the room, so we can move on to administrative report. Looks like Barb, you're up first.
All right, so as I said, Barbara Scott, I'm the IT director. To get you used to, sorry, it's sitting too close to the speaker. The IT department, for those of you who haven't been on finance before, which is who I reported to directly, we manage for 19 different departments. We take care of all the phones, all of the computers, all the copiers, the printers, we are heading the tower project that you're going to vote for on Tuesday night. And we have also, Jason is very much involved in the sheriff's department. He takes care of Spillman, and he is an SAA, which Richland County is lucky to have an SAA on board that's a Spillman administrator. We also take care of all the cameras in the county, all of the door access systems. So we have a lot on our plate, and that's part of what I love about my job is there's a lot of variety. Part of what we struggle with is that we'd like to see the budgeting come, and I know that Clinton is working on this, to more of a centralized budgeting. We are the only centralized department in the county. And that makes it difficult because I have all the ability in the world to advise any department of what their IT needs are, but I don't have any ability to help them with their budgeting or such. I do have spreadsheets that I'll be happy to share with you that indicate what we believe each department's needs are based on our experience with that department, and what they should be budgeting for, and we're happy to share that. But they might not be accurate because, again, I don't have anything really to do with each department's budgeting. They do that on their own. One of the things that I've seen in my 27 years here is IT expenses don't get budgeted under IT categories. They get stuck under office supplies. They get stuck under a lot of miscellaneous things. Wherever people have room, they're just going to stick that computer or whatever. That's great. I appreciate that people are being frugal with their money and keeping within their budgets, but it doesn't give you as supervisors the true picture of what your technology costs are. You need that to run a good county. So those are the goals that I have. There's a lot of other projects. You're going to see me every single month with a different project that's coming up. That's just the nature of our business. We are happy to have any of you stop over to our office at any point in time. We'll give you a tour of the server rooms and show you what we're working on. The guys are happy to help and anything you need. Any questions for me?
Mr. Elder, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
I think everybody has a hard copy of the, I'll let Josh take it over.
So at the start of the meeting, I provided everybody with a paper copy of our monthly bills. So let's get started out with what the highway department basically doing right now. For those of you not aware, Richland County has about 300 some miles worth of road, all projects which flow right through my office most of the time. So each year we're trying to roughly pave about 5 miles worth of road and seal coat about 15 to 20 miles worth of road, along with various culvert repair projects, bridge repairs, so on and so forth. So what we kind of got going here, and everybody can find this in an interdepartmental folder. A lot of you already have access or have seen this, but this is something to help track what we have going. So right here, this is Excel plan that lists all of our roads start to finish, and then it also has each road that we're going to be working on and what respective year we're going to be working on. So if there's any question on what we have going, all you have to do is resort back to this Excel spreadsheet. It'll tell you where we're at with it. Currently this year, we're going to be working on County Road E from Highway 60 to extending 3.1 miles just short of Basswood Road, I believe it is. And then we're also going to be doing another 20 miles worth of seal coating and also paving County Road BR. Going back to the monthly bills, this is a glimpse on what kind of expenditures we have per month. This one's actually a pretty light month, but you'll see the grand total on our monthly bills usually averages around $300,000 per month. That's the kind of debts we carry from month to month, along with trying to pave and seal coat. So it's kind of us in a small nutshell.
Anybody with questions on the bills as presented?
I've got one. Who maintains Highway 14?
We do as the highway department, but we're contracted out basically through the state. We're an entity of the state to maintain state roads within the county.
Is there going to be any resurfacing anytime soon from Culver's all the way to the second stoplight?
So originally that stretch of road was scheduled for, I think, 2026, but because of the complaints and the pushing that we've done, we've actually been able to move that up to 2024 is when they're going to come in and take care of that road.
So we have in the county, our, in front of my house, Highway 60 will be this summer, and actually 193 as well. It's about the same time, or same timeline.
About the same time frame. Those projects right now are currently, if all goes good, scheduled to be done by probably the second week in July. They stay on schedule, but 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to run till the end of July before you see these projects wrap up on the state roads.
If nobody has any questions on the bills, I would entertain a motion to pay as presented. Mr. McKee makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cosgrove. Any further discussion on the bills as presented? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, bills shall be paid. Did you kind of give the status on the 22 projects as well, Josh, A and B?
Yes, that was County Road E and also County Road BR with the 20 miles of seal coating.
Okay, so we don't, 9B is good.
Correct.
Up to number 10, report on courthouse roofing project. Randy, probably you?
Yeah, as you can see, the roofing project is going pretty well. This is their 4th week here, and they're finishing up on, they've already finished up the whole south side and the east side of the building. Come Monday, they will be going, they've already moved all the scaffolding over to the north side, and they're set up and ready to go, start tearing off north side and removing the tile up there first. And then he figures they'll possibly be done at the end of next week, with as long as the weather holds out and it doesn't get too warm up there. They'll be able to tear it all off in 2 days and shingle in 3. That's the report he gave me yesterday. Unless they run into a snag somewhere, but it looks like everything is way ahead of schedule. It was estimated to be 7 to 8 weeks, and right now we're at 4, could be 5 to 5.5 weeks. So they're doing a very good job so far.
Questions to Mr. Nelson as far as the roof project?
The roof pretty much what they expected, worse, better, or?
It was actually what we expected. The spots that were leaking the worst there was a couple rotted places, but other than that, all the rest of it was pretty solid. Just the 2 spots that they had right there is the spot that they had to replace a bunch of sheeting. And then I think there was 2 pieces of sheeting in there, and then there was one down by the tower, actually above the DA's or the small courtroom. There was a section down in there that they had to replace some sheeting, but otherwise it looked right there. You go back down, right, one more, right there. They replaced that down in the bottom corner. And that is, that strip you see missing right there, that's all the venting. If you see the vents, when you look at the building from the outside, you'll see all the vents on the lower side. That was the way it was designed back in the day, to have the venting on the low side of the roof. So you'll see the new vents on the lower side now instead of way up high. So otherwise, it's moving right along.
Any other questions on the roof project? Number 11, report on financial capital improvement planning. I think, is that Mr. Clint? Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me, Mr. Chair?
I can.
Okay, working with Supervisor Nelson and myself, we've developed a capital improvement plan for the courthouse maintenance and improvements. With consideration of operational expenses, there's a projection of minimal increases other than wages on that side of the house. But as part of the Richland County strategic plan, an initiative to have a consolidated maintenance department is going to be listed as a goal. So you'll see that coming forward for consideration points for finance and personnel. The other half of that is the initiative for our capital improvements project. You'll see underneath the summary a document that kind of looks like this. And what this is trying to do is it's trying to capture the proposed projects in their given year, allocated an estimated expense underneath the yellow column there. The next columns over then is how we're going to pay for it, the funding sources. We have annual operations levy. We've got our short-term general obligation notes that we've been taking out. We have our general obligation bonding for Fund 75, which is going to be expended at the conclusion of 2023. And then if it's a bigger project, we're going to consider other types of bonding, other revenue streams for our projects. Of course, for the courthouse, we don't, but there would be foundation partnership funded, any types of grant or service fees, or if we're going to defer it. Still working with Supervisor Nelson as we track down a few numbers on it, but wanted to give you a preview kind of what this document looks like. Coming forward to you, coming forward to finance and personnel and to the county board is going to be a complete plan that has documents like this for each of our, most of our departments, and for some of our other programs and such, like a Parks Commission, or like Barb was saying, we're hoping to have a combined IT fund in which we also have capital improvements and capital projects on it. You can see on the plan right now, we're trying to continue with heat exchangers for each 3 per year for the courthouse. We're looking at potentially a ceiling repair in the library and victims witness, a chiller in the jail to try to address, lock and key change and update. We anticipate on trying to get numbers where all these things fit are yet to be determined, of course. Lawnmower tractor, and then potentially a signage update. Moving forward into 2024, heat exchangers, boiler replacement, and taking a look at the parking lot, those islands and curbs out there. I believe Commissioner Elder was going to kind of give us an estimate on that as time permits for him. In 2025, again, heat exchangers, looking for new carpet and paint, register of deeds office, also with the jury room, law library, witness, child support rooms. Lift on the east side of the small court has been asked for, and this is to try to facilitate for the small courtroom. The only ADA accessible way we have to get there is through the existing elevator, which then pulls traffic through the courtroom when court is in section. And then potentially too, if it's a more than one phase thing of taking out islands and then addressing it with patch the next year, not sure yet on that. 2026, heat exchangers again, taking a look at the heat controls, updating it. Right now, they're still on a pneumatic system with air versus electricity. There's been asked for a consideration of a jury bathroom as well. 2027, heat exchangers, window replacement on the south side of the courthouse, and potentially also looking at vault renovation in the basement with airflow, as it's becoming a kind of an unsafe area with mold accumulation and air quality. So this is what's on the docket right now. We still have some work to do in kind of costing these things. Once the wish list is put together, though, we're going to have to marry up the wish list against all the other requests from the other departments and their funding sources. And several of these items will be marching forward then as an approved capital plan with a funding source identified in making it happen. Mr. Chair.
Within there, either Mr. Nelson or Mr. Clint, the loose steel that we've talked about above the south entrance, is that addressed in the future in any one of those years?
Hoping to, you go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, it wasn't on the list, but we have talked to Mr. Marshall, and he's still working on getting a price for steel, but it's gone sky high. So right now we're trying to look at other options for that up there.
I've got monies earmarked yet for this year, so we're hoping to address that in 2022.
Okay. Questions, Mr. Carroll? You have one? Yes.
Yeah, I didn't catch when the target is for getting the rest of these numbers penciled in.
But for the rest of these, I'm hoping to have a 90% solution by next Thursday to hash again with department heads, and then bring in a projection to finance and personnel at their meeting in June.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome, sir.
Any other questions for either Mr. Nelson or Mr. Clint? All right, thank you, sir. Let's move on down to action items. Number 12, discussion and possible action on resolution to construct a wall to facilitate a new interview room for the sheriff's office.
I can let Randy describe the project, but the bottom line is because it's a public works project, in order for us to take it on, because we're adding to the structure, if you will, we need a 3/4 vote from the county board. Resolution has been prepared. So looking for a motion to recommend resolution of the county board to authorize maintenance supervisor Randy Nelson to purchase materials and install the wall in the sheriff's department squad room number 125 to separate a suspect witness interview room from a storage area. And I would defer to Randy to help better illustrate the project.
Yeah, that's just a dividing wall for the squad room. One of their back rooms, they want to separate it, make an interview room. So it's basically going to be like a 16-foot wall, just up to the ceiling with a door in it, and only surfaced on one side. And estimate was around $890 or something like that. So it was under $1,000.
I'd make that motion.
Mr. Carroll makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. McKee seconds it. New members, you need any more background on it? It's pretty simple. We looked at it last meeting. I think Richard and I and Mr. Carroll did as well. But Randy's going to do the work himself, and right now, currently, they have to take him through this room into that back area for interviews. So, all right, enough on that. All those in favor of Randy, Mr. Nelson, constructing the wall for the sheriff's department signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Nelson.
I've got this one for you, sir. If we're on use of discussion and possible action on courthouse grounds.
Yes, sir.
Two here for you, looking for a motion to affirm the administrator's consent to allow Richland County Ministerial Association use of the courthouse grounds for assembly to recognize the National Day of Prayer. That has already happened on May 5th, so it's a situation where I'm asking for forgiveness versus permission. We had done it historically, so I thought that you folks would be in favor of it, but in order to satisfy our rules, if you could please affirm my action. And then the second one is motion to allow Richland Center High School Key Club, a branch of the Kiwanis Club, use of the courthouse grounds to conduct a fundraiser for those in need in Ukraine. Anticipated date is on the 21st of May of this year. Mr. Chair.
Anybody need further explanation on them? Did you have them pray for you on May 5th that we would allow this?
I thought I'd be in good. You know, I thought it was I should have a shoe in.
That's good. Anybody have questions? Otherwise, can we run them both together, or do you want two separate?
I'm comfortable if you want to take motion on them both. That's fine. I just separated them out in case you weren't.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Cooley makes a motion. Mr. Cosgrove seconds. Any further discussion on courthouse ground use? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. You made it through this one. Number 14, change order on the courthouse roof.
Mr. Chair, looking for a motion today to recommend resolution to accept the interstate roofing change order proposal to include replacement of a flat roof over the causeway and the new jail addition to the courthouse, and to recommend to Finance and Personnel Committee funding the project through American Rescue Act funds. Background on this is during the process of addressing our deficiencies in the historic courthouse roof, we have uncovered some rapidly deteriorating spots on the connecting flat roof of the causeway and the new jail addition to the courthouse. Interstate roofing, currently on site on the historic courthouse, has submitted a change order proposal of $72,200 to address the deteriorating spots and to stop the growing leak areas of the causeway, the clerk's office, and the zoning office, etc. I think the proposal I listed in there, I've got a graphic in here as well. This is in your zoning office. Administrator Bindle sent me this as they've got significant leaking going on through the tile and filling up buckets. Clerk Kalish also has considerable leaks, and then I think everybody is aware of the growing leaks problems that we have by the elevator. I'm sure Supervisor Nelson could elaborate on some of the more challenges that we're having with our roof. American Rescue Act fund is a dwindling fund at the next finance and personnel. I plan on rolling out a recommendation for apportionment, just like we did last month with our borrowing funds, and including this as an item to consider for them for appropriations for those funds, Mr. Chair.
Anybody have questions for Mr. Nelson? Pretty self-explanatory. I know, well, those of us that have been on the committee know it's been leaking for a while. And that was our original plan. Hopefully, just to, once we got somebody here on the main roof, that we could talk them into fixing the existing. Randy, anything to add?
No.
I guess I have one. I'm sorry, Brandy, did you have something?
No.
He's good.
Okay. I had one more point on it. So Russ also had them take a look at the campus project. There was some leaking yet that we have around some fire doors or fire something of that fire, some damper doors, I think, or something. But that project, in talking with Corporation Counsel, and I agree with them, is going to constitute its own project. We didn't feel like that would merit being able to do a change order where this is all the same structure, same roof, and uncovered. So we would, if we want to advance with the campus copper top project, we would have to do that as a separate project, and I would take that through Education Committee, just in case. I know we talked about it that one time, so to let you know what happened with that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any further questions? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to accept the change order and send that on through its channels.
Make that motion.
Mr. McKee makes the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Carroll makes the second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving the change order and moving it on, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Move that one on. Back to number 15 on mine, restructure highway personnel. Back to Josh.
Okay, this is something that passed the original highway committee last. So this is something that passed the highway committee last month, and I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention since there's some of you that sit on finance and personnel, because it is going there next month. With the retirement of the current parts clerk's position, we are looking to trim the fat, if you would put it that way. So what we're going to do when he retires, we'll take his job and we'll absorb it into 2 other positions. And with that being done, this is going to be an annual savings of around $54,000 some odd dollars a year. So just to let you know, that's coming to finance personnel next month on the 7th.
New members, Richard or Mr. Carroll, you have questions on that? It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is, when the park clerk retires, we're gonna take the shop foreman and move him to a salaried position. And he will absorb all the parts room responsibilities and overseeing the shop, and then all the clerical work that's currently performed underneath the parts clerk, that'll be absorbed in our office clerk's position, and we'll take her up to 40 hours to cover that.
all with the same.
All with the savings of
Makes us all
54.
smile for a year.
Yep.
Do we need, Mr. Clint, do we need a motion on that? Or is that's already coming?
That's already been
Yeah,
passed. This is just
that'll be a
bringing it
full-
to your attention.
Should be a full county board or going to personnel and finance?
It's going to personnel and finance next and on the county board if it
Okay.
passes there.
All right. Information only. Next item, future agenda items. Anybody have anything we need to bring? I put down one thing. How are you guys with this 4:00 start time? I don't think the majority of our meetings will be this quick, or will they, Barb? No, probably not. Okay.
This is fine.
We can make it work?
Like what we used to.
Once a month will be good. Thank you.
Eat today.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything else for future agenda items? If not, we would entertain a motion to adjourn until, when's our next meeting? We'll go with the same, I didn't look. June 9th? Okay. Looking for a motion to adjourn till 4 p.m. on June 9th. I will make that motion. Seconded by Mr. Cosgrove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.